So with the US Open starting in under a week, we have the seeds set for the US Open. And it's come down to the last couple of matches in Cincinnati, but let's go have a look at what the men and women's seeds look like for this tournament. All right, starting on the women's side of things, and we had to wait until the final of Cincinnati to get this confirmed, but this is going to be the top 4 seeds in this order. We've got Sabalenka, Swiatek, Gauff, and Pegula in that order are going to be the top 4 seeds, of course. Swiatek overtaking Gauff by winning in Cincinnati, so that was a big move because now Swiatek avoids Sabalenka until the final. The top 8 rounded out is Andreeva, Keys, Paolini, and Anisimova. And Paolini, after having a really good week in Cincinnati, puts herself in that top 8, so that's really important as well. Rounding out the top 16, we've got players like Raducanu at number 9, Mukova at number 11, Towson, who's been playing really well lately, at number 14. So we could get some really interesting 4th round matches between some of those names and those top 8 players I mentioned. And then the rest of the seeds, we can see there we've got Mboko. She's the number 22 seed after having a great week in Canada. Osaka comes in at 23, same as Mboko, having a great week in Canada. Really helped her get the seed. Ostapenko at 25, which means she could play Swiatek in a 3rd round. So we'll see when the draw comes out where Penko falls. We know how dangerous she is. Having a look at the dangerous unseeded players, Raducanu, she just missed out on being seeded. In fact, if somebody pulls out over the next few days in that top 32, she will be the next player involved in those seeds. So Raducanu at this stage is unseeded. Moniro, she's also unseeded, has been really good lately and is a real dangerous player and could be really dangerous as a 1st or 2nd round opponent for all the seeds. Danielle Collins also going to be unseeded at this event. We know how much danger she brings to the court against pretty much everybody. Krejcikova, another one who's going to be unseeded at the US Open, and again, we know how dangerous she can be. And Vondrousova, another player who's going to be unseeded at this event and very, very dangerous, and we've seen that danger over the last couple of months. Over on the men's side of things, top 4 seeds, we've got Sinner, Alcaraz, Zverev, and Fritz in that order, so no change there with the Cincinnati match today, not making any difference, just for a confidence boost. The top 8 will be Draper, Shelton, Djokovic, and De Minaur. So Djokovic at number 7, we're kind of getting used to it now. He hasn't really been in that top 4 for a while because he doesn't play as much or doesn't play enough to get those points. The rest of the top 16, you've got players like Musetti at number 10, you've got Rune at 11, Medvedev at number 13, and then the rest of the top 32, we've got players like Fokina, who's been really, really good. Feast, he's back for this Grand Slam. He's been injured the last couple of months, but of course has been really, really good. Lehechka's another one, very dangerous player there. Bublik, he's the number 24 seed, very, very dangerous player. Hasn't played any hardcore tennis leading in, but he's the type of player that doesn't really need to do any hardcore preparations, and he could be dangerous anyway. And then you got someone like Tsitsipas at 27, so there could be a chance that we get like a Tsitsipas Sinner 3rd round, which kind of seems a little bit weird. Some of the dangerous unseeded players, not as many on the men's side, just because a lot of them have either pulled out or they're already seeded. Alexei Popyrin, very dangerous player. We saw that last year when he took out Djokovic at the US Open and has had a decent couple of weeks. Just dropped down the rankings because he lost all those points that he had from the Canadian Open last year. So definitely a dangerous player. Fonseca, we all know how dangerous he can be and the potential he has. So I wouldn't put anything past him if he takes on one of those top players. We saw that at the Australian Open. Tien, another one as well that we've seen at Grand Slams and on hard courts specifically. Very, very dangerous player, and nobody wants to see Tien in an early round. Marin Cilic also coming in. Former champion, of course, 36 years old now, but still very, very dangerous player and very fired up and still capable of upsets, so watch out for him. And also Opelka. We know how dangerous that serve is, and we saw him at the start of the year in Australia take out Djokovic, so nobody wants to see that big serving Opelka, especially being in New York, and that crowd is going to be wild, so you got to deal with the serve and the crowd when you're taking on Opelka in this tournament. So there it is. They are the seeds and some of the unseeded players. Let me know down in the comments below, what unseeded players do you think are the dangerous ones? Maybe I missed a couple there. We've got the draw coming out, of course, in a couple of days' time, so we'll wait and see whether or not we get some blockbuster first-round matches, or like we have seen over the last couple of tournaments, we have to wait a couple of rounds or a couple of days until we finally get those matches. But it's going to be interesting. There are some interesting potential matchups. But there it is. They are the seeds for the US Open, and it starts on Sunday because we're starting a day earlier this time.